So, Chapter 25, Martyrdom at Bagumbayan. So, after being court-martialed, Rizal returned to his cell in Fort Santiago to prepare his rendezvous with destiny.
He was busy meeting visitors including Jesuits, priest Josephine Bracken, and member of his family, and the Spanish newspaper correspondent, and some friends, and secretly finishing his farewell poem. And as a Christian and a hero martyr, he was sincerely resigned to die for his beloved country, which he called Pearl of the Orient Sea in his last poem, and Pearl of the Orient in the article entitled Unfortunate Philippines, published in the Hong Kong Telegraph on September 24, 1892. So Rizal the last hours of Rizal. So at 6 December 29, 1896, Captain Rafael Rodriguez, who stood the death sentence of Rizal to be shot at the back by the firing squad at 7 a.m. at Bagumbayan. So at 7 a.m., Rizal was moved to the prison chapel where he spent his last moment. His first visitors were Jesuits and Friars. 7:15 a.m., Rector Sadero left. Rizal, in a jovial mood, reminded Father Vesa of the statuette of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, which he carved on his pen knife as an Ateneo student. So Father Visa, anticipating such a reminiscence, got the statue from his pocket and gave it to Rizal. The hero happily received it and placed it to his writing table. 9 a.m., Father Francisco Fowler arrived. Rizal reminded the priest of his earliest prophecy about Rizal. He said that would someday lose his head for writing the Noli. Father Rizal reminded, "You are indeed a prophet." So at 10 a.m., more Jesuit priests had visited him. After then, he was interviewed by Santiago Matrix for his newspaper El Heraldo de Madrid. So from 12 a.m. noon to 3:30 p.m., Rizal was left alone in his cell. He took his lunch, after which he was busy writing, and it was probably during his time when he finished his farewell poem and he hid it inside the alcohol cooking stove, which was given to him as a gift by Paspardo de Tavera during his visit in Paris. At the same time, he wrote the last letter to Professor Blumentritt, his best friend in German, as follows. So he said to Fru Ferdinand Blumentritt, "So my dear brother, when you receive this letter, I shall be dead. Tomorrow at 7 I shall be shot, but I am innocent of the crime of rebellion. I am going to be with a tranquil conscience. Goodbye, any best, my dearest friends, and never think ill of me." So at 3:30, Father Vincent Balaguer returned to his cell and discussed with Rizal his retraction letter. So at 4 p.m., Chodora Alonso visited him. They had a very emotional encounter. Rizal gave the alcohol cooking stove to Trinidad, which contained his farewell poem. Several priests visited him afterwards. Afterwards, Trinidad entered to the cell to fetch her mother. As they whispering each English, "There is something inside." Trinidad understood, so she know English because Rizal taught her this language. These somethings with Rizal farewell poem, it is came to pass that she was able to smuggle her hero's last and greatest poem, the priceless gem of the Philippine literature. So at 6 a.m., Rizal received a new visitor, Don Silvano Tonon. So the dean of the Manila Cathedral, Father Balaguer, and March left, leaving Villatara with Rizal and Don Silverino. So at 8 a.m., Rizal had his last supper. He informed Captain Dominguez, who was with him, that he forgave his enemies, including the military judges who condemned him to death. So at 9:30 p.m., Rizal visited by Don Don Gaspar Cistanio, the fiscal of the Royal Audiencia of Manila. So as gracious host, Rizal offered him the best chair in his cell. After pleasant conversation, the fiscal left with a good impression of Rizal's intelligence and noble character. So at 10 p.m., the draft of the retraction letter sent by the anti-Filipino Archbishop Bernard Bernardino Nozaleda was given by Father Balaguer to Rizal for his signature, and Rizal had rejected it. So upon Rizal's death, his supposedly retraction letter became one of the most controversial documents in our history. So this retraction letter allegedly contained his re- reno- renunciation of the Masonry and his anti-Catholic religious ideas. So depending on whose side you are on, some Rizalists claim that it is fake, while some believe it is genuine. So there had been some evidence, but so far this had only heated up the debate between the two factions. At 3 o'clock in the morning of December 30, 1896, Rizal heard Mass, confessed his sin, and took Holy Communication. So at 5:30 a.m., he took his last breakfast on earth. After this, he wrote a letter for the first addresses to his family, and the second to his brother Pasiano, and the letter to his sisters follows. So he says to my family, I ask you forgiveness for the pain I caused you, but someday I shall have to die, and it is better that I die now in the plenitude of my conscience. Conscience. Dear parents, brother, and sister, give thanks to God that I may preserve my tranquility before my death. I die resigned, hoping that with my death you will believe in peace. It is better to die than to live suffering. Console your December 30, 1896, 5:30 a.m. Josephine Bracken arrived together with Rizal's sister Josefa, with the tears in his eyes, bade him farewell. Rizal embraced her for the last time, and before she left, Rizal gave her a last gift, a religious book, Imitation of the Christ by the Father Thomas Kempis. 6:30 At about 6:30 a.m., a trumpet sounded at Fort Santiago, a signal to begin with the death march to Bagumbayan. So Rizal walked calmly with his defense casual and two Jesuit priests at his sides. So he was dressed elegantly in black suit, black derby hat, black shoes, white shirt, and black tie. So his arms are tied behind and far elbow to elbow. So there are a lot of spectators lining to the street from the Fort Santiago to Bagumbayan. So as he was going through the narrow Postigo gate, Rizal looked at the sky and said to the one of the first, "How beautiful it is today, Father! What morning could be more serene? How clear is Corregidor and the mountains of Cavite. On morning like this, I used to take a walk with my sweetheart." So while he was passing in front of Ateneo, he saw the college tower. Above the wall, he asked, "Is that Ateneo, Father?" "Yes," the father replied. So a Spanish military physician, Dr. Philip Ruiz Castelo asked his permission to feel his pulse, and he was amazed that to find it normal, showing that Jose Rizal was not afraid to die. So the martyrdom of an hero. So Rizal, knowing that his rendezvous with destiny was imminent, Rizal reverently bowed his head and kissed it, and then he requested the commander to be firing squad, and he was shot facing the firing squad. His request was denied, for the captain had implicit orders to shoot him in the back. So the death the death ruffles of the drums filled in the air above the drum beats. The sharp command fire was heard, and the gun of firing squad barked. Rizal, with supreme effort, turned his bullet riddle body to the right and fell on the ground dead, with face upward facing the morning sun. It was exactly 7:03 in the morning, age 35 years, 5 months, and 11 days. Aftermath of a hero martyr's death. So at the time when the bullets of Spain firing squad killed Dr. Rizal, the Spanish resident friars, Jesus not include, corrupt official including Governor Polavea, exulted with sadistic joy for Rizal's formidable champion for the Filipino freedom was gone. In fact, immediately after the hero execution of the Spanish spectators, shouted Viva España! Muerte a los traidores! Long live Spain! Death of the traitors! So and the Spain military band, joining the jubilance over Rizal's death, played the gay Marcha de Cadiz. So poor bigoted Spaniards of no vision, they were fully unaware of history inexplorable ideas. For the, for the execution of Rizal's presage, the foundation of independent nation. True that the Spanish bullets were killed Rizal destroy his brain, but the libertarian ideas found in his brain destroyed the Spanish rule in the Philippines, writing which awakened Filipino nationalism and paved the way of the Filipino Revolution. He proved that the pen is mightier than sword, as many splendid genius writers, scientists, and political martyr. He richly deserved history salute as national hero of the Philippines. So that's all about the martyrdom at Bagumbayan.